I just built the SQL Database agent with my new AI data science team, and I want to share how to do that in this video. Okay, so it's really easy. It's actually astonishingly easy to start taking my AI agents that I'm building in this AI data science team and integrating them into this app. So let's check this app out. So this is what it does. It basically keeps a history of, it connects up to a database, so you can connect it to like any database that you want. And I'm going to show you how to do that in this video. You enter your API key for OpenAI, you pick a model, if you want GPT 4.0 mini or 4.0, and what you're going to do is go down through and we can start asking questions about this database. And we can start generating SQL queries. It'll produce data frames and tables. It'll aggregate things like this one, aggregate sales for each territory, and it produces this complex SQL query, something that would personally take me a while to type up, and then it generates the result. So this is the result after you execute that query on your database. All right, so this is what we're going to build today. It's part of my new AI data science team. So I'm going to put a link to this in the notes. Check this GitHub repo out. Please do me a favor, star it. That actually helps me. It helps you find and stay in touch with the changes, but it also helps me because it shows how popular this new package of data science teams, my new AI powered data science team is getting. But anyways, back to what we're trying to accomplish here. So I want to introduce you really quickly to this data science team that I'm building. It's an army of agents literally that you can pull off the shelf. So we're going to see the SQL database agent in action today inside of a web application. Okay, so that's what we saw over here. Underneath the hood, one of my agents is running. Okay, I'll share how to do that here in a second. But first, let's just take a look at the GitHub repo. So this AI data science team, it's your army of AI agents that all do data science tasks. The goal is to speed up the stuff that you most commonly do. So 10x speed up of things like feature engineering, data cleaning, data wrangling, SQL database queries, machine learning models, all that stuff. We're getting even into multi-agents. I'm probably going to end up building an app around that one soon. And then now what I'm talking about here today is data science apps. Okay, so this is the first of many data science apps that I'm going to start building with this AI data science team. Very, very cool stuff. All right, so over to the code. What I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be sharing how to use that SQL database agent that I talked about in order to be able to build this web application that automates all the querying and does all that fun stuff. So, okay, so the code today. This comes from my AI tips newsletter. Do me a favor, join that. When you join the newsletter, what I'm doing is documenting my journey. So as I make all of these tutorials, I'm documenting every single one. And when you join, you not only get access to the code for this tutorial, which is right here, this 010 SQL Database Agent, but there's more. You get access to every single one for free. Can't beat it. So you get 10 tutorials currently and more coming. So you also get access to the data that we're going to be running. I'm going to be using this Northwind database today, and that has a bunch of tables. It's a pretty big database and is great to simulate a company's ERP system. So enterprise resource planning, and we're going to build a SQL database agent on top of it. All right. So the code that I'm working out of is this app.py. That's this Streamlit file here. Okay. And what we're covering today is the SQL database agent, what it is. So I already kind of showed you what that was. Second thing, expose you to the new AI data science team. I also did that. Make sure you're started the GitHub repo. And then the third thing, how to build the app. That's what we're going to do right now. Make sure that you go to the project repo. Make sure you give it a GitHub a star. Do me a favor, start right up here right now. Pause the video, star. That helps out big time. The next thing that you're going to do, you're going to make sure that you have the latest version of the AI data science team installed. You just open up a terminal, go terminal, new terminal, and you'll pop that right in here. This line pip install with this git string, that's going to go right down here, and it's going to install the software requirements. If you want to know all the requirements for this particular app, that I have that stored here in the requirements.txt file. You need your AI data science team. Make sure you also have Streamlit, SQL Alchemy, Pandas, Async IO. I did actually set this up for Async, which is awesome. LangChain OpenAI, because we're going to be using OpenAI, LangGraph, and OpenAI packages. All right. Then this app is already set up for you to basically use it from scratch. All right, so whatever your database is, or you can even connect it to multiple databases, you're going to put a label here, And where that's going to pop up is it's going to pop up right over here in your select database. They see this. Let me escape out of that. Yeah, for some reason the Apple thing keeps popping up. But anyways, you're gonna have a list of databases. Okay, so that's what this is. And then you're gonna add a query string. Okay. And that's gonna be the string that's gonna connect you to your database. If you have a MySQL server or whatever else, you're gonna put that in here and then you're gonna connect up to it just like the string that you would use to connect up through SQL Alchemy. All right, the model list, because I have this already all set up for OpenAI, I'm using their models. So GPT-4o mini and GPT-4o are your two options. Where those will populate is once you put an API key in, this will pop up down here and you can choose your model. But you have to have an API key and you're going to paste that in here. So make sure you go to OpenAI, get an API key from them, and then you're going to paste that in here. And then what you'll be able to do is start running that. Okay. The rest is kind of basic stuff for building Streamlit apps. So you're going to include a title of your app. So my title is your SQL Database Agent. I have a markdown here that tells you a little bit about what this agent does. So that's this piece here. We've got a little expander here, which gives you some sample questions. So when you open this, this will be shut, but you can just click on it, open it, and then you got your sample questions here. And then the sidebar is going to be these items over here. So that's what's going to populate your database options. This ST sidebar select box is going to be select your database. We're going to store that in the session state and then also create a connection. That connection object will be used when we create the SQL agent. This is the OpenAI logic that makes sure that you've got a valid API key before we proceed. And then if you do have an OpenAI API key in there, then this stuff will appear down here where you can actually select the model. All right. Next part is the Streamlit app. So this is the most complicated part. We've got a Streamlit chat history. That's what populates all of this stuff here. So the Streamlit chat history. And then you've got a little indicator here or a little session state where we're going to add in session state data frames and we're going to keep track of those in our history. So because we're going to be producing these data frames here, we need to store those somewhere. So we're going to keep track as the user interacts with our application. We need to store those and make sure that they're persistent as they add new questions. Like for example, down here, if I add another question, aggregate the sales by month for each territory, pop that in down here. What we don't want to have happen is all of the previous history get deleted, or especially these data frames. Okay, so that's what this is doing. It's tracking each one of these, given each data frame an ID, and so on. Okay, so you see there, I've got month now, territory. This is a completely new query, and you can see here that it saves all of the previous history. Okay, so that's what we're doing with this display chat history and keeping track of these data frames and stuff. All right, here is the key thing. It's one line of code. All we're doing is we're creating a SQL database agent. We're giving it the LLM model a connection, telling it n samples 1 to minimize the number of samples that are going to be going to our query. We're going to say log false because we don't want to actually log any of the pipeline functions that would be produced by this SQL database agent when it makes the queries. And we're also going to bypass one of the key steps, which is a recommendation step, just to speed up our process of building queries. Okay, this function here, this async def, it might look a little weird if you've ever done asynchronous programming before, but basically what this is going to do is it's going to invoke our agent asynchronously. Why is that important? Because inside of applications, if you've got multiple users pounding, LLMs and trying to like ping your, ping your, if it's your OpenAI account and they're all trying to ping it at once, what they would have to do is wait sequentially for each one of those LLM calls to be complete. This async does, what that does is it allows you to asynchronously, if you have multiple users of your app at the same time, call those queries asynchronously. Very handy. So whenever you're inside of apps, you always want to have async functions. Okay, and then this is the part that actually processes the query. So what you're going to have is once the user enters a question in, and as long as they have a path to their database present, what it's going to do is if they have an OpenAI account that's been verified, it's then going to move on to this logic here. So what we're doing is we're going to process and asynchronously, we're going to run that handle question function, which is this thing here. All it does is just creates from our created SQL database agent, it's just going to invoke it with whatever the user question is. All right. And it's going to return the SQL agent dated with, as it processes the question. It's going to have methods in here that we can call. Okay. So we're going to call those methods down here, assuming that there's no error and we get the asynchronous result back. What we're going to grab out is the SQL query code from that agent, and we're going to grab out the data from that SQL query. So once the SQL query gets executed on the database, it returns a data frame. And we're going to just take those two and we're going to pop it in. So if there's a response, we're going to produce the SQL query as markdown. And then what we're going to do here is add the data frame to our session state data frames. So we're going to add that up here so we can track it. And then we're also going to print out the response here. Okay. And that's what we're doing. And that's all there is to this app. So the beautiful part is you can literally take this application, update it with your database options. It's all ready to run on any database that you want to use. Let's give it a test spin. Here, I'll refresh it and I'll show you that it's working. If I pop in my SQL or my API key, whoops, wrong API key. Here, let me grab an API key. Here, I'll throw this one in here, see if this one works. And we're good. Okay, so we can see what tables exist in the database. Boom, pop that in here, run that. We should see this thing running. Here, if I go back up here, see the agent is running and it's literally reporting the output results right here. Okay, very cool. So last thing, I probably should have mentioned this previously, but this is what you use to run the app. So if I want to run the app here, let's do this. Say I control C the app, kill this app. The app is no longer running. I can see here, site can't be reached. You just run this line of code here. So let's paste that in, Streamlit run, and it'll fire up the app for you. Okay, and there we go.